After school, Maya walked into the bright office supply store with a simple plan in her mind: buy 2 notebooks and a calculator before tomorrow's math exam. She had saved the money from tutoring a neighbor's kid on weekends. She liked this store because it was organized and busy enough that no one stared at her. Her backpack felt a little heavy with textbooks, but her steps were light. She knew exactly where the spiral notebooks were and which calculator her teacher had recommended. The store smelled faintly of cardboard and fresh paper, a scent that always made her think of new beginnings. A row of colorful planners caught her eye, but she kept moving with quiet focus. She paused near the calculator shelf to compare features and prices. A small sign on the shelf said the model she needed was kept in a locked case. It was normal for pricier items. Customers had to ask a staff member to open it. She glanced around for help. At the same moment, a loud beep sounded by the front door as 2 college students walked in laughing. The sensor chirped again when the door swung shut. The sound made a few heads turn, including the store manager who was standing near the print center. He was a tall man with a neat haircut, busy eyes, and a habit of folding his arms tightly across his chest as he scanned the floor. He watched the students for a second, then turned and noticed Maya standing alone by the locked case, checking her phone. Maya opened the store's website on her phone to confirm a small discount code she had seen in the morning. Her teacher had shown the class how to find student deals online, and Maya was proud that she remembered. She did not want to spend even $1 extra. She compared the code to the price tag, making sure the model number matched. A young clerk with a name badge that said Evan stepped up beside her with a friendly smile. "Can I help you with the display case?" he asked. "Yes, please," Maya said. "I need this calculator, the one with the graphing function. The website says there's a student discount today." "Great choice," Evan said, unlocking the case with a little key from his belt. "That discount should work at the register. Let me grab a new one from the back so you get a sealed box." While Evan walked toward the stockroom, Maya selected 2 lined notebooks from a nearby shelf. She chose a blue one for math and a green one for science. She liked how the covers felt smooth against her fingers, and the fresh pages were full of quiet promise. She also picked up a pack of sticky notes, thinking of how they might help her mark formulas she kept forgetting. Across the store, the manager kept glancing over. In his mind, the earlier door beep and Maya's quick phone check blended into a single uneasy thought. He told himself it was his job to be careful. He had dealt with returns gone wrong and barcode problems before. He did not approach Maya, but he didn't look away either, as if watching would answer his questions. He noted the way she studied items and then looked at her screen. He decided he would keep an eye on her, just in case. Evan returned with a new, sealed calculator. "Here you go," he said, placing it in Maya's basket. "If the discount code doesn't scan automatically, we can enter it manually. It sometimes happens." "Thank you," Maya said, grateful for his kindness. She headed toward the register, rehearsing the discount code in her head so she would not forget it under pressure. The line moved quickly. She placed the notebooks, sticky notes, and calculator on the belt, then took out her wallet. Her hands felt a little warm, but it was the normal kind of nerves she got when paying for something important. The cashier scanned the notebooks and sticky notes without trouble. When he scanned the calculator, the barcode beeped, paused, and beeped again. The screen flashed a short message, then cleared. He scanned a second time. It worked. "All set," he said easily. "Do you have a student discount code?" "Yes," Maya said, reading the code from her phone. He typed it in, and the price dropped. She smiled with relief. The total matched the number she had calculated at home. She paid with her debit card. The receipt printed. The cashier placed everything into a neat bag and handed it to her with a "good luck on your exam." Maya thanked him and slid the receipt into her bag. She liked to keep all receipts for school supplies. It made her feel responsible. She stepped away from the counter and adjusted her backpack straps. The store felt a little busier now. Someone made copies at the print station. A child asked for colorful markers. It was a normal afternoon. As Maya approached the exit, she saw the manager glance toward her again. She met his eyes for a brief second and offered a polite nod. He did not nod back. She did not think much of it, some people were simply serious at work. She kept walking, careful with her bag, careful with her steps, careful with everything, the way she always was in public. "Excuse me," the manager said, stepping in front of her near the anti-theft gates. "I need to check your bag." Maya stopped, surprised. "I just paid," she said softly, lifting the bag slightly. "I have the receipt." "I'll need to see it," he said. His voice was firm, not loud, but it carried across the space. A few people turned their heads. Evan, the clerk, looked up from the aisle where he was straightening pens. "Of course," Maya said, reaching slowly into the bag. She found the receipt and opened it with both hands. "Here it is. The calculator and the notebooks are all listed." The manager took the receipt and looked at the register number, then at the time stamp, then at the items. He nodded once but did not move aside. "There was a scanning issue," he said. "I want to make sure everything's correct." The cashier scanned it twice, but it went through, Maya said. He typed in the discount code too. Evan stepped closer. "I helped her at the case," he offered. "She picked the model we keep locked, and I gave her a sealed box. The discount is a current promo." The register showed the right final price. The manager did not look at Evan. He looked back at Maya's bag, then at the receipt again. The moment stretched. Maya felt her throat go dry. She had done everything right, she knew she had. She breathed carefully, the way her mother had taught her to do when she felt nervous before a test. In through the nose, out through the mouth. "Calm is power," her mother said. "If you want to check, we can," Maya said, trying to be helpful. "I'm not in a hurry. I just need to study tonight." The manager's jaw tightened. He handed the receipt back. "Wait here," he said, stepping to the side. He took out his phone, walked a pace away, and made a call. Maya did not realize at first who he was calling. She stood still, her bag close to her, the receipt trembling in her hand. Evan looked torn. He took a small step toward the manager and then took a step back. A customer at the copy machine glanced over. A quiet buzz passed through the line like a low whisper, something was happening. The door chimed again as another person entered, then chimed once more as someone left. Maya's phone buzzed in her pocket. It was a message from her best friend asking if she had found the calculator. Maya typed back, "Yes, got it," and added a smiling face, though her smile felt thin. She did not want to worry her friend. She put the phone away and waited. The manager's voice was soft but clear on the phone, using short phrases, the kind people use when they are trying to sound official. He looked over at Maya, then back at the floor. He thanked the person on the other end and hung up. He returned to where Maya stood. "Please remain here for a moment," he said. "I've called for assistance. We'll resolve this shortly." Maya did not fully understand what he meant until a small knot formed in her stomach. Assistance could mean many things, but in a retail setting, it often meant one specific thing. She felt a gentle wave of heat across her face. She reached for her phone again, this time without hesitating. She texted her mother, "Hi Mom. I'm at the office supply store. I paid for everything, but the manager asked me to wait. I think he called someone. I'm okay, but I'm nervous." Her mother's reply came quickly, "I'm on my way. Stay calm. You did nothing wrong." Reading those words helped. Maya took a slow breath and looked around. She noticed small details to steady herself: a stack of printer paper on sale, a poster offering free laminating for teachers, the gentle hum of the air conditioning. She held the receipt like a lifeline and kept her posture relaxed. She remembered a talk at school about knowing your rights and speaking politely. She decided that if anyone asked her questions, she would answer clearly and respectfully, just as she would during a class presentation. Evan moved a little closer, as if his presence might make things easier. "Do you want me to get the cashier?" he asked in a quiet voice. "That might help," Maya said. "Thank you." He nodded and walked toward the register. The manager watched him go but did not interfere. He stood near the exit, arms folded, gaze fixed on a spot in the middle distance. He told himself he was doing his duty. He told himself it was better to be careful. Yet, even as he thought these things, a small uncertainty flickered in his eyes, the kind that appears when a person has more questions than answers. Maya stayed where she was, feeling both seen and strangely invisible at the same time. She wondered whether anyone else had ever been asked to stop like this. She reminded herself again that she had done everything by the book: asked for help with the locked case, paid for the items, used a valid discount code, received a printed receipt. She resisted the urge to apologize for something she had not done. Instead, she looked down at the receipt and read the time stamp again. It matched the clock near the copy center. The store's front door opened, letting in a patch of warm air and street noise. For a brief second, the world outside felt very close: cars moving, people talking, life flowing. Inside, time felt slower, stretched by waiting. Maya's phone vibrated once more. Her mother had sent a second message, 10 minutes away. "You're doing great. Keep breathing." Maya closed her eyes for a second and pictured her mother's calm face, the way steady people look when they are solving a problem. Somewhere behind the counter, a printer clicked and spit out a small test page. Evan returned with the cashier, who nodded toward Maya with a look of recognition and concern. The cashier opened his mouth to say something, but at that exact moment, the door chime rang again, 2 short tones, and the store seemed to hold its breath, waiting for what would happen next. The 2 short tones belonged to the store's front door. 2 officers stepped in from the warm afternoon, their uniforms neat, their expressions calm. They did not rush. They did not raise their voices. The taller officer, with a name tag that read Reyes, scanned the room with steady eyes, noting the customers, the registers, the exit gates, and the manager standing near Maya. The second officer, Kim, gave a gentle nod, as if to say they were here to help and to find out what was going on. The manager lifted his hand to catch their attention. "Over here," he said, keeping his voice controlled, though it had a tight sound around the edges. He explained in short sentences that there had been a scanning issue with an expensive calculator. He said the customer, he paused, then gestured toward Maya, had acted in a way that made him concerned. He used careful words, but his meaning was clear. He wanted the officers to treat it like a serious matter. Officer Reyes listened without interrupting. Then he turned to Maya. His tone was respectful, even gentle. "Hello," he said. "I'm Officer Reyes, and this is Officer Kim. Are you okay?" Maya held her receipt with both hands. "Yes," she said, hearing how small her voice sounded at first. She cleared her throat. "I paid for all of my items. The cashier scanned them. I also used a student discount code. May I see your receipt?" Officer Kim asked. Maya handed it over. Officer Kim looked at the items one by one, then glanced into the bag. 2 notebooks. Sticky notes. A sealed calculator box. Everything matched. Kim nodded slightly and showed the paper to Reyes, who looked just as carefully. Neither officer seemed rushed. They were doing what Maya's mother always called checking the facts. A few shoppers had paused at a respectful distance. They were not loud, but the weight of their attention was easy to feel. Near the marker display, a woman held her phone in a steady hand. She did not push forward. She did not speak. She simply recorded, her face thoughtful and calm. Later, Maya would learn her name was Priya, a regular customer who believed that quiet proof can be important. Evan, the clerk who had helped Maya at the locked case, stood close enough to be heard. I assisted her, he said to the officers. I got the calculator from the case and brought a sealed box. She went straight to the register. The code is a valid promo. The scanner hiccuped once, but the cashier rescanned and it was fine. The manager tightened his folded arms, then unfolded them, then folded them again. I still want the cameras checked, he said. We have to be careful. There are policies to follow. Expensive items sometimes go missing. Officer Reyes nodded as a sign he had heard the manager, then addressed Evangelist. Thank you. Could you ask the cashier to step over for a moment? Evan moved quickly, almost relieved to have something concrete to do. While he walked, Officer Kim returned the receipt to Maya. Thank you for being patient, Kim said. You did the right thing by keeping your receipt. Maya's fingers steadied a little. Thank you, she said. She remembered her mother's words, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Calm is power. She let the words guide her breathing. Her phone buzzed once in her pocket. She glanced down. A message from her mother read, 5 to 7 minutes. I'm almost there. You're not alone. The cashier joined them, still wearing a polite smile despite the tension in the air. I rang up her items, he told the officers. The calculator scanned on the second try. I applied the discount code she read to me. The total was correct. I bagged everything and gave her the receipt. There was no problem. Officer Reyes thanked him and made a short note in a small notebook from his pocket. Then he turned to the manager. We have her receipt. We have the sealed item. We have the cashier's account. We have the clerk's account. Is there anything else we should know right now? His voice was calm and even, not challenging, just clarity seeking clarity. The manager pressed his lips together. Something about this doesn't feel right, he said. The door sensor earlier, the phone used near the locked case, the scan hiccup. I'm responsible for loss prevention. Officer Kim kept her tone neutral. Door sensors beep for many reasons, sir. People walk in and out. And lots of customers use phones to check prices and discount codes. That's normal. Evan shifted his weight, then found the courage to add, I actually told her to use the code if it didn't auto-apply. It's in our weekly promo. The manager gave him a quick look, not sharp, just tired, as if the day had taken on a weight he had not expected. He rubbed his forehead with 2 fingers. Even so, he said, softer now, I want a camera check. That's the store's policy when we suspect something. Officer Reyes considered this. We can wait while you check your point of sale log for the exact item and price at that register, he offered. The receipt timestamp should match. That's often the simplest first step. The manager hesitated, then pulled out his phone and called the district manager. His voice dropped as he moved a few steps away, speaking in a low, official tone about logs and approvals and camera access. He paced quietly near the copy station, then near the pens, then back again. The pacing told its own story. He wanted certainty, and he wanted it now. Meanwhile, the air in the store settled into a careful quiet. The officers stood with an easy posture that said they were here to observe and keep things safe while the store did its checks. Priya, the bystander with the phone, held her position, still recording, her hands steady. A parent gently steered a small child away from the scene, whispering, let's give them space. Maya stayed near the exit gate where she had been asked to wait, shoulders relaxed on purpose. She did not want to look defensive or afraid, even though her stomach still fluttered now and then. She looked at the sealed calculator box inside the bag and pictured herself using it to graph lines and curves that made sense. She pictured the exam paper tomorrow and the feeling of relief when an answer finally matched what she had worked out on her scratch sheet. Officer Kim took a half step closer, lowering her voice. "Do you need a glass of water?" she asked. "There's a water cooler near the service desk." Maya shook her head politely. "Thank you. I'm okay." She paused, then added, "My mom is on her way." "That's good," Kim said. "It's always better when family is close by." A soft buzz of the air conditioner filled the silence for a moment. Evan gathered a few loose pens from a nearby shelf and lined them up, a nervous habit that gave his hands something to do. He looked at Maya with quiet support in his eyes. Maya offered him a small smile, a way to say thank you without words. The manager returned from his call. "The district manager wants to be on the line when we access camera footage," he said. "They'll call back in a few minutes. They asked for the register log too." "Perfect," Officer Reyes said, sounding relieved to have a clear next step. "While we wait, could you or your team pull the point of sale log for this receipt's timestamp?" Evan turned to the cashier. "I can run back and print the excerpt," the cashier said, already moving toward the stockroom where the manager's terminal was set up. Evan followed, eager to be useful. The manager stayed up front, watching the door, the officers, and Maya, his face composed but thoughtful, like a person replaying a moment again and again to make sure he had not missed something. Priya took one hand off her phone long enough to adjust her glasses. She did not meddle, but she also did not look away. Later, Maya would remember that steady kindness, the kind that stands nearby, quiet but present, keeping a record so that the truth has a second pair of eyes. Maya's phone buzzed again. "Almost there," her mother wrote. "Remember your breathing. You have the receipt. You have the truth. I'm proud of you." Those words moved through Maya like a warm light. She straightened just a little more and let her shoulders soften. She thought of the many times her mother had told her, "You don't need a loud voice to speak clearly. You only need your facts and your calm." She held onto that like a handle on a steady door. Officer Reyes glanced at the exit and then at the manager. "You mentioned a scanning issue," he said mildly. "How often do your registers have to rescan an item? Is that uncommon?" The manager exhaled slowly. "It happens," he admitted. "Barcodes crease. The angle is off. Sometimes the scanner just blinks. It's not rare." He paused, then added, "But I try to be careful." "Careful is good," Reyes said. "Equally important is checking the simple things first." Evan and the cashier reappeared with a narrow printout. The cashier handed it to the manager, who read it, then passed it to the officers. "Item numbers. Timestamp. Discount code applied. Final price." All of it lined up with the little block of text on Maya's receipt. The manager read the paper twice, as if the numbers might shift on the second reading, but they didn't. "Numbers are steady that way. We can still wait for the district manager," he said, sounding slower now. "They want to be on for the camera review. It's our protocol." Officer Kim nodded. "Understood," she said. She glanced at Maya, then back at the manager. "We'll stay until you finish your review." The store seemed to take a long, quiet breath. The copy machine hummed again. A small paper sign near the checkout, which Maya had not noticed before, read, "Thank you for shopping with us. Student discounts available today." The words felt almost too neat for the moment, but they were there nonetheless, plain and true. Maya's phone buzzed one more time. This time the message from her mother said, "Parking now. Heading inside." Maya's heart lifted. She looked toward the glass doors and saw a familiar figure in a navy blazer crossing the reflection of the street outside. The light caught a simple necklace she knew well, the one her mother wore when she wanted to feel both grounded and ready. Just then, the store's door chimed again, and fresh air pushed in softly from the street. The scene had not resolved yet. The log had helped, but the manager still waited for his call. The officers remained calm, steady, respectful. Evan and the cashier stood nearby, quietly ready to help again if asked. Priya kept recording, careful and kind. Maya did not know exactly what would happen next. She only knew she had her receipt, her truth, and her mother's footsteps moving closer. She breathed in through her nose and out through her mouth, and in that small, steady rhythm, she found a strength that felt like standing on level ground. The moment held, balanced between what had been said and what would be said, and for the first time since it all began, Maya felt something like hope rise and stay. The door chimed, and Aisha stepped inside with a calm that filled the space like soft light. She did not rush, but her eyes found Maya immediately. She gave her daughter a small nod that said, "I'm here." Then she greeted the officers with a gentle good afternoon, and offered the manager a polite hello. Nothing in her face was sharp or angry. She looked like someone who had come to listen and solve a problem step by step. "I'm Aisha," she said. "I understand there was a question about my daughter's purchase. Thank you for making sure the store stays secure. Could we move a little to the side so this conversation doesn't feel like a show for other customers? I want Maya to feel safe and not embarrassed." The request was simple and respectful. Officer Reyes glanced at the manager, who hesitated, then nodded. They shifted a few steps toward a quiet corner near the service desk, away from the main line but still in view. Maya stood close to her mother, feeling steadier just from her presence. Aisha smiled at the officers. "Thank you for keeping a steady tone. That helps young people a lot," she said. Then to the manager, "And thank you for doing your job. I think we can clear this up quickly." The manager folded and unfolded his arms. "We had a scanner hiccup," he said. "It scanned on the second try. The customer used a discount code. I felt it was best to verify everything." "We understand," Aisha said. "Here's how I'd like to proceed, if that works for you. We review the receipt alongside the register log. Looks like you've already printed the excerpt. We confirm the items in the bag match the receipt. If you still have concerns after that, we can check camera footage with your district manager on the line. And through it all, we speak in normal voices and keep this professional." Something in her tone, the mix of courtesy and structure, made the air feel clearer. The manager looked at the printout again, then at Maya's receipt. He seemed to be replaying his earlier decision. "We have the log," he said, tapping the paper. "It does match." Aisha gave a small, warm nod. "Good. Next, the items." She turned to Maya. "Sweetheart, could you open the bag for them?" Maya opened the bag. 2 notebooks. Sticky notes. A sealed calculator box. She held the receipt next to the items so the officers and the manager could see the names and item numbers. It was as simple as a checklist: notebook, notebook, sticky notes, calculator. All present. All correct. Officer Kim spoke softly. "Everything aligns on our end." Before the manager replied, a voice came from a few feet away. "Excuse me," said Priya, the bystander, raising her hand slightly to show respect. She kept her phone low, not in anyone's face. "I been recording, mostly wide angle. I saw her pay, and I saw the clerk bring the sealed calculator from the locked case. If it helps, I'm happy to share this with the store and with the family." Aisha turned to her with gratitude in her eyes. "Thank you for being thoughtful. Your steady witness is kind." She looked at the manager. "This is exactly the kind of independent record that helps everyone trust the process." Evan, the clerk, took a small step forward again. "I can also write a short statement, if needed." I opened the case, brought the sealed box, and saw her go straight to the register. The manager looked from Evan to Priya to the officers. Something in his face softened a little. He took a slow breath. "I recognize your name," he said to Aisha suddenly, almost surprised at himself. "Are you, with the tech company that sponsors the city's STEM fair?" His voice lost its hardness. "We did a joint flyer last month. We offered school supply bundles. Your logo was on the poster near our entrance." Aisha smiled politely but did not stand on it. "Yes, my company supports that event. We also donate laptops to local schools. I mention it because we care about students like Maya, and because we think clear, fair systems matter for everyone. Today is a small example of that. It's not about who I am, it's about the process being kind, careful, and equal." Officer Reyes nodded. "We're here for that too." The manager's phone buzzed. "That should be the district manager," he said. He answered on speaker, after a quick heads up. "Hi, yes, we're at the front. Officers are present. We have the receipt and the register log. The items match. A bystander recorded the purchase. The clerk and cashier confirm." A calm voice came through the phone. "If everything aligns, there's no basis to hold the customer. If you still want to review cameras, do it to learn and improve, not to delay a clean release." The district manager paused. "Please also note the weekly promo sheet confirms the student discount code. It's expected." Aisha lifted a hand slightly. "May I say one thing?" The phone voice agreed. "Thank you for supporting a clear path. I would also ask that when there's a scanner hiccup, your team follows a simple checklist before escalating: verify receipt and log, confirm sealed packaging if applicable, and speak to the assisting clerk. If those are all in alignment, there is no reason to call officers. Many times, store policy steps can solve the concern." The district manager sounded receptive. "That is reasonable. We'll review our floor checklist. Manager, please note this and follow up." "I will," the manager said, his voice quieter now. He looked at Maya. "If this caused you fear, I apologize for that. I I should have checked the simple things first." Aisha did not rush the moment. She let the words sit in the air. Then she turned slightly toward Maya. "Do you want to say anything?" she asked, giving her daughter the power to speak or not speak. Maya swallowed and found her voice. "I had my receipt," she said gently. "I asked for help, I paid, and I was ready to go home and study. I want to feel safe doing normal things." Her words were brief and honest. They carried the steady weight of truth without anger. The room felt different after she spoke, quieter, more human. Officer Kim added a small reflection, still in that calm, respectful tone. "We're glad you stayed calm, Maya. And sir," she said to the manager, "for many store issues, the first step is an internal check, not a police call. We're here when needed, but often, policy beats panic." Priya lowered her phone a little more. "If you'd like, I can email the video to the store's district address, and also to the family," she said. "I'll include the timestamp and where I was standing. I kept a wide angle so it shows the register." "Thank you," Aisha said again. "That's very kind." The cashier, who had stayed nearby, spoke softly. "I'm sorry, too," he said to Maya. "Even though I didn't call anyone, I wish I had said more, sooner. Sometimes I think it's not my place, but it is right to speak when facts are clear." "It helps to be brave about simple truth," Aisha agreed, with a warm look that included him rather than judged him. "Thank you for saying this now." The manager glanced at the small sign near the register that read, "Student discounts available today." He seemed to see it for the first time since the shift began. "We put that sign up," he said more to himself than to anyone else, and yet I didn't let it guide me. He lifted his eyes. I will hold a short team huddle after this. We'll go through the checklist you suggested. We'll also note that receipts and logs are proof, not just paper. May I add one more detail? Aisha asked gently. When your team asks a customer to pause at the door, the tone matters. A sentence like, our scanner hiccuped, and we want to double check your receipt with our log. It should take a minute. Thank you for your patience, tells the customer they are respected and that this is a process, not a judgment. The manager nodded slowly. That's fair. The district manager's voice came through again. I'm noting this for our training update, they said. Manager, please send a short report today, what happened, the steps reviewed, and the new phrasing. We'll make it standard. I will, the manager said. Aisha turned to Maya. Would you like to step outside for a minute of fresh air, or would you like to complete everything here and walk out together? Maya looked around the small circle of faces, officers, staff, and the kind stranger. I want to walk out together, she said. I want the ending to be calm. Then that's what we'll do, Aisha said with a small smile. Officer Reyes addressed the group. Based on the receipt, the item match, staff confirmation, and the register log, there's no cause for further action. We'll note that this was resolved at the store level. He looked at Maya. You are free to go, of course. Thank you for your patience. Thank you, Maya said. Priya stepped a little closer, but still with respect for space. Would you like me to email the video now? She asked. Yes, please, Aisha said. She exchanged information with Priya, then with the district manager's address, and thanked her again for her thoughtful presence. To the officers, she said, thank you for your calm. It sets the tone for everyone. Kim inclined her head. We're glad to see a good process, she said. It helps the whole community. Before they moved, Aisha looked at the manager and spoke kindly but clearly. I accept your apology. I also hope today becomes a small turning point. It's not easy to admit when we rushed, but it's powerful to learn from it. If you need any sample language or a one-page checklist, my team can share a template. We make tools like that for schools and small businesses. The manager seemed relieved to have a practical next step. I would appreciate that, he said. Aisha turned back to Maya. Ready? Maya nodded. She reached for her bag, tucked the receipt carefully into the inner pocket, and lifted her chin. The store looked normal again, a parent buying markers, a student comparing paper weights, the steady light on the copy machine. Yet the room also felt changed, as if a lesson had moved through it very quietly and settled on the shelves alongside the notebooks and pens. They walked together toward the door, the officers giving them space, the staff watching with thoughtful faces, Priya standing like a quiet lighthouse with her gentle recording. As they reached the exit gate, Maya glanced up at her mother, who gave her a proud, steady look. It said, you handled yourself with grace. It said, facts and calm are strong. It said, you can breathe now. The door chimed again, this time like a friendly bell. Warm air touched their faces. Outside, the day was bright, the sidewalk alive with small city sounds. They didn't hurry. They just stepped into the afternoon, side by side, with a feeling that something important had been set right or at least turned in the right direction. And while there was still more to do, conversations to have, checklists to write, words to choose for future moments, Maya felt the tightness in her chest loosen and lift. She could picture her exam again, and the clean lines of a graph rising on a new screen, and the simple comfort of a regular day that stays regular. Behind them, inside the store, the manager took a slow breath and gathered his team. Ahead of them, on the street, Aisha touched Maya's shoulder and said softly, let's go home. You have an exam to crush. And with that, they turned toward the car, carrying a calm kind of strength that would last longer than this afternoon. On the drive home, the car felt like a safe little room. Aisha kept one hand steady on the wheel and one eye on Maya's face. She did not ask 100 questions. She asked only two, "Are you okay, and do you want to talk or listen to music?" Maya picked music at first. The soft beat in the background let her breathing slow down to a calm rhythm. After a few minutes, she spoke. She told her mother the story from start to finish: the locked case, the discount code, the double scan, the stop at the door, the call, the waiting, and then how everything finally cleared up. Aisha listened without jumping in. When Maya finished, she said, "You did everything right. You kept your facts. You stayed calm. That is real strength." She also added, in her quiet, practical way, "And we will use this moment to help other people have better experiences." At home, Maya placed the sealed calculator on the table like a small trophy won after a long race. She made tea, the kind with a light lemon scent, and sat with her notes. The study plan she had made in the morning still worked: 15 minutes on graphing lines, 15 on functions, a short break, then practice problems. Her fingers felt steady on the calculator buttons. The new screen showed clean, bright numbers. She liked how simple tools, used the right way, could bring order to ideas that once felt confusing. Before bed, a message arrived in Aisha's inbox from the district manager. It had a clear subject line: follow-up and next steps. The message thanked Maya for her patience and listed 3 immediate actions: a team huddle at the store that evening, a short online training for staff the next day, and a review of the floor checklist to add simple steps before any escalation. The manager had already written a short report. He asked if Aisha's community team could share a 1-page script for how to speak to customers when the scanner hiccups or the register lags. Aisha smiled as she read it. She wrote back, "We will send sample language by morning. Thank you for acting quickly." At the store, long after the last customer left, the manager gathered the team in a semicircle by the register. He stood with his hands open and no folded arms. "I want to talk about what happened today," he said in a steady voice. "We will not debate feelings in a circle. We will set facts, improve steps, and learn as a team." He laid out the simple points, like stones in a clear path: a customer asked for a locked item, a clerk assisted, the register hiccuped once, the discount code was valid, the receipt and log matched, and yet a call was made before simple checks were done. He looked at Evan and the cashier. "You both told the truth with calm voices." "Thank you," he said. He turned to everyone. "From now on, we use an evidence-first checklist. We confirm receipt, confirm sealed item if it applies, and confirm with the assisting clerk or cashier. We do this in normal voices, and we thank the customer for patience. Only if something truly does not match do we escalate. That is our policy." The team nodded. One cashier raised a hand. "What exact words should we use at the door?" The manager answered with a script he had copied onto a small card. Our scanner blinked. We're double-checking the receipt against our register log. It should take a minute. Thank you for your patience. Then, 3 steps: check receipt and log, ask the assisting staff member, check packaging. Print this script, the manager said. Keep a copy at each register. Evan, still thinking about the afternoon, added something small that mattered. Also, if a team member speaks up with a clear fact like "I opened the case," that should carry weight immediately. We should make space for that. The manager agreed. Yes. Facts from our team are part of the evidence. We will listen. The next morning, Maya woke early but not worried. She made a simple breakfast and reviewed her notes one last time. In school, her math teacher, Mr. Ortiz, noticed her new calculator. Good tool, he said with a smile. Remember, tools do not think for us, they help us think clearly. He gave the class a few quiet minutes to breathe before the test. Maya liked that. It felt respectful. During the exam, Maya's mind moved like a clean line. Questions looked like puzzles she had already practiced. She felt her breath steady, her heartbeat even, and her fingers sure. When she finished, she checked her work twice, then closed her paper with a small, grateful smile. It felt like a fresh start. At noon, a short email arrived from the manager to Aisha and, by permission, to Maya as well. It was brief and honest. I apologize for the way I handled yesterday's situation. I have led a team huddle and put a new evidence-first checklist in place. We will complete an online training today. Thank you for your calm and for the practical suggestions. In the afternoon, the training began on video for all staff. The district manager hosted. Aisha's community team shared a one-page guide titled Evidence First, Dignity Always. The guide had simple blocks of text, large fonts, and short examples. It included a role play. One person acted as a customer leaving with a receipt, another as a cashier, another as a manager. They practiced the exact script. They timed the check. It took less than a minute when done correctly. They practiced tone, too, normal volume, friendly phrasing, no rush, no edge. We are fixing a small process issue, the guide said, not fixing a person. The video also included 2 reminders. First, many customers use phones to check prices and discounts. That is normal, not suspicious. Second, scanner hiccups happen. They are machine moments, not people moments. The phrase machine moment made everyone smile. It gave staff a way to separate equipment errors from human intention. Meanwhile, Priya, the bystander who recorded the scene, emailed her video to the district address and to Aisha. Her note was graceful. I kept a wide angle and avoided faces as much as possible, focusing on the register and the bag. Use as you see fit for internal learning. The district manager replied with thanks and promised the video would be kept for training only. They also asked Priya for permission to quote her closing line, "Quiet proof can be important in a staff bulletin." She said yes. Later that day, Officer Reyes wrote a short internal note for the police department's training board. It described the store call and the outcome. He highlighted what worked: steady tone, careful listening, and clear store records that resolved the worry. He added a line that stayed with him: when store policy is strong and used early, it often prevents a police moment from becoming a police problem. Officer Kim read the draft and added, and when young people meet calm, they learn that calm is safe. In the evening, Aisha's community team sent 2 more simple tools: a small laminated door words card for staff and a calm corner idea for stores. The calm corner was not a physical corner with signs, it was a practice. If something needed checking, staff would gently ask the customer to stand by a low shelf away from the main line, not at the exit gates where it felt like a stage. The aim was dignity, quiet checks in a quiet spot. The manager printed the cards and placed them at each register. He also created a small clipboard check. After any scanner hiccup, the cashier marked 3 boxes: receipt checked, log matched, staff confirmed. This tiny routine turned worry into steps. He felt lighter with a clear process in his hands. He also sent a thank you message to Evan and the cashier: "You both stood by facts. That helped me see where I moved too fast. I value that." Maya, for her part, felt something shift inside. She had always been careful in public, careful with her tone, careful with her hands, careful with her space. Now she also felt clear about her rights and her voice. That afternoon, at the bus kiosk, a small error popped up on the ticket machine. The screen froze after she tapped her card. A line formed. The old Maya might have stepped back and said nothing. The new, calmer Maya said, "The machine had a hiccup. Could we reset it and check the transaction log?" The bus attendant nodded, did a quick reset, checked the log, and waved her through with a thank you. It felt like a tiny echo of the store, but gentler. She realized that clear steps and kind words worked in many places. At school, Mr. Ortiz asked the class to share one moment from the week when they handled stress well. Some students talked about soccer practice or family chores. When it was Maya's turn, she shared a small part of her day. I waited, I had my receipt, and I spoke clearly. She did not share the whole story. She did not have to. Mr. Ortiz said, that is how systems improve one calm step at a time. After class, a friend whispered, "You're strong." Maya felt seen without any spotlight. Back at the store, the team did a quick second huddle before closing. The manager asked, "What went better today?" The cashier said, "We used the door word script once. A customer thanked us for being clear." Evan added, "Naming it a machine moment brought everyone's shoulders down." The manager wrote those wins on a whiteboard in the break room, clear words. Fast checks. Calm tone. He also wrote a small reminder to himself at the bottom, ask 2 questions before any call, what facts do I have? Who on my team holds a piece of the truth? Aisha and her community team scheduled a short in-person visit with the store for later in the week to try a 5-minute role play with any staff who missed the online session. She kept the tone warm in her email. "We are neighbors," she wrote. "We all want good days for our young people and good days for your staff. Thank you for working on this with care." That night, as the city lights came on, Maya and Aisha sat at the kitchen table. They ate a simple dinner and laughed about a tiny thing, the calculator's start-up sound, which was a cheerful beep that somehow felt like a toy. It felt good to laugh. When the laughter faded, Aisha said, "Sometimes life brings us a hard moment we did not choose. We can still choose our response. Today, you chose well." Maya nodded. "I want to keep choosing well," she said. "Not just for me." A soft silence settled between them, the kind that feels like peace. In that quiet, Maya thought about the clerk who spoke up, the cashier who told the truth, the officers who stayed calm, the stranger who recorded with care, and the manager who changed course in front of his team. One by one, small choices had added up to a better ending. It made her believe that change did not always need a stage. Sometimes it needed a checklist, a gentle voice, and a few people willing to do the next right thing. Before bed, Maya set out her clothes for tomorrow and placed the new calculator on top of her notebook. She looked at it one last time and smiled. It was just a tool, yes, but it was also a symbol now, of steady steps, kind language, and the power of simple, honest proof. She turned off the light and slept deeply, while across town a team of store employees practiced the same short script and checked the same 3 boxes, building a new habit one calm minute at a time. A week later, the store looked almost the same from the outside: bright windows, steady foot traffic, school supplies in neat rows. But inside, small details told a new story. A short sign near the entrance read, "We're improving our service, thank you for your patience and trust." Under it, in simple lines, were 3 steps: check receipt and register log, confirm with assisting staff, and review packaging if needed. At each register, a small card waited beside the scanner. It said, "Door words," and showed a friendly script. Our scanner blinked. "We're double-checking your receipt with our log. It should take a minute. Thank you for your patience." There was also a small phrase that made people smile: "Sometimes it's just a machine moment." Maya saw all this when she and Aisha returned to the store for a community event on Saturday morning. The store and Aisha's company had planned it together, a short talk about respectful service, followed by a donation of school kits for local students, calculators from Aisha's company, notebooks from the store. The idea was simple and kind: turn a hard experience into help for many. The event was not big or loud. It was warm and local. Parents held coffee cups. Teachers waved to former students. The store had set up a small table with a plain banner that read, "Evidence first, dignity always," borrowed from the one-page guide Aisha's team had shared. Evan stood near the table, arranging kits with quiet care. When he noticed Maya, he lifted a hand in a friendly hello. "Hi," Maya said with a small smile. "This looks nice." "We thought simple felt right," Evan said. He looked proud, but not in a showy way. "We stacked the kits by grade level. The manager said we should make it easy for families to pick up what they need." The manager, who had invited Aisha to speak for 2 minutes, stepped forward now. His voice was clear but not grand. "Thank you for coming," he said to the small crowd. "Last week, we had a tough moment in the store. We handled it in a way that caused stress. We learned from it. We now have an evidence-first checklist and a better way of speaking to customers when our machines hiccup. We don't get everything right, but we are committed to doing better, step by step." He paused, then added, "Thank you to our neighbors who guided us with patience." Aisha kept her remarks brief. "We all want the same thing," she said. "Good days for our young people. Clear steps for our staff. Calm words when things go wrong. Today is about community and small tools that make big feelings smaller." She nodded to Evan and the cashier. "Thank you for standing up for facts. Thank you to the officers who kept a steady tone. Thank you to the stranger who quietly recorded, because sometimes quiet proof is important." A few minutes later, families lined up for the school kits. Maya helped hand out notebooks. She liked saying, "2 notebooks, 1 calculator, have a great school year." Priya arrived, too, carrying a canvas bag and her same calm presence. She took a picture of the new entrance sign, not of faces, just the sign, and posted it to her neighborhood group with a gentle line, "Our local store updated its process. Evidence first, dignity always. Proud of small, good changes." During the event, a natural test arrived. At register 2, a barcode refused to scan on a pack of markers. It beeped once and flashed an error. The cashier looked at the screen, took a breath, and said the doorward script in a friendly voice, just loud enough for the customer to hear, "Our scanner blinked. We're double-checking your receipt with our log. It should take a minute. Thank you for your patience." The customer nodded, relaxed, and smiled. Evan walked over, checked the register log, and confirmed the item and price. The whole thing took less than a minute. No raised voices. No crowd. No worry. Maya watched the small scene and felt something unwind inside her. The system worked. A tiny knot in her chest loosened. After the event, the store gave Aisha a simple thank you card signed by the team. The manager's message inside was short but thoughtful: "Thank you for helping us turn a mistake into a better method. We will keep practicing clear steps." He had also printed a small internal chart: scanner hiccups this week, 6 resolved by checklist, 6 average time to resolve, 52 seconds. It made everyone smile. Numbers could tell a calm story. Across town, the police department hosted a coffee with officers hour at a neighborhood cafe. Officers Reyes and Kim talked about the value of steady tone and strong store policy. They did not name the store or the people. They shared a general lesson: when a business uses a simple checklist, it often solves its own problem, Reyes said. When staff speak in normal voices and check their own logs first, it leaves us free to focus on the calls that truly need us. Kim added, and when young people see calm, they learn that calm is safe. At school, Mr. Ortiz returned the math exams. He placed Maya's paper on her desk with a small smile. Anita sat at the top corner. Nothing flashy, nothing loud. Just a letter that said her quiet work had done its job. Maya felt warmth rise in her chest. She thought of the long week and the tiny steps she had taken: breathe, speak clearly, trust the facts, study anyway. After class, a ninth grader she sometimes tutored, caught up to her. "How did you stay so calm last week?" the younger student asked. Maya said, "I held my receipt like a handle. I talked in a normal voice. And I thought about the steps, not the fear." The ninth grader nodded. "Steps, not fear," he repeated, trying on the words like a new jacket. Aisha's community team kept going, too. They turned the one-page guide into a tiny toolkit for small businesses, a laminated door words card, a printable checklist, and a little calm corner note with tips on where to stand and how to give a customer space while a check is done. They sent the kit to a dozen local shops, a pharmacy, a bookstore, a phone repair kiosk. The email said, "Use what helps. Adjust what doesn't. We're neighbors." Replies came back with gratitude. One store wrote, "We used the phrase machine moment today. It broke the tension. Thank you." Back at the office supply store, the manager made something new on the break room wall, a small circle of care board. Staff could pin quick notes about moments when they handled things well. Evan pinned the first card, scanner blinked. Used door words. Customer smiled. 40 seconds. The cashier added another, asked the clerk first. Saved time. Felt good. The board filled slowly, not with big events, but with small ones that kept a day on track. One afternoon, Maya returned to the store to buy a poster board for a science project. She walked in with the easy steps of someone visiting a place where a lesson had been learned. The manager spotted her and gave a respectful nod. Not a big wave. Not a performative show. Just a real nod. "Good afternoon," he said. She returned the greeting. Near the craft aisle, a little boy tried to choose between two colors of poster board. Maya knelt down and pointed to a bright shade. "This one is easy to see from far away," she said. The boy grinned and picked it. Small kindness, small smile. At the register, the cashier scanned Maya's items without trouble. Still, Maya noticed the door words card resting next to the scanner, ready like a seat belt you don't always need but are glad to have. Behind her, someone asked Evan where the locked batteries were. He went to unlock the case and said, "I'll bring you a sealed pack." Maya felt a ripple of tenderness for these little phrases that made a busy store gentler. Outside, the afternoon had that hard-working light of early fall. Maya sat on a bench for a moment and opened her bag to check the receipt before tucking it into her notebook, a habit that now felt like a friendly routine. She took a slow breath, not out of stress, but out of gratitude. She thought of all the people who had touched this week's story, her mother, who spoke with both kindness and structure, the officers, who kept a steady pace, the clerk and cashier, who told simple truths, the manager, who changed course and invited training, the district manager, who said we learn, we improve, Priya, who believed quiet proof matters, Mr. Ortiz, who gave the class a calm minute to breathe, and the friend who said, "You're strong," like it was a simple fact. Later, at home, Aisha wrote a short message to her company's internal newsletter. She shared 3 lines learned from the week: when a system hiccups, fix the step, not the person. Use small words and steady tone. People hear better when the air is gentle. Dignity is not a favor. It is the base layer of good work. Her team read the note and passed it around with short comments like "yes, keeping this," and "printing for front desk." That weekend, Maya and Aisha visited a local school to drop off a few extra kits. The principal, a kind woman with quick eyes, welcomed them into a bright office. On the wall, a poster read, "We practice calm." The principal tapped the words and said, "This looks small." "It is not small." Maya smiled. She knew what the principal meant. Calm was not a soft thing, it was a strong thing. On their way out, they passed a bulletin board covered with student art. One drawing showed a row of doors with little golden handles. Under it, a handwritten caption said, when things are hard, hold on to what is true. Maya felt her throat warm. She thought of her receipt. She thought of her mother's hand on the steering wheel, steady and sure. She thought of the door chime at the store sounding like a friendly bell when they walked out together that day. That evening, they sat by the window with tea. The city moved quietly outside. A bus sighed at a stop. A neighbor watered plants on a balcony. Life was normal, and normal felt precious. Aisha looked at Maya and asked, "What will you remember most?" Maya thought for a long second, then said, "That many people chose the next right thing. And that one person's calm can make room for another person's calm." Aisha nodded. "Yes," she said. "That is how better days begin." Before bed, Maya placed her science poster board beside her desk and set her calculator on top of her notes. She was ready for another week. Not because she expected every day to be perfect, but because she knew what to do when a small thing went wrong. Breathe. Speak simply. Check the steps. Ask for help. Offer kindness. Hold on to what is true. In the end, the story did not turn on a grand speech or a big headline. It turned on a receipt, a log, a few plain sentences, and a decision to let process be gentle. It turned on a manager who said I was wrong, a clerk who said I will speak, and a mother who said dignity is your right. It turned on a young person who held her ground with quiet grace. And that was enough. Days later, Maya passed the store again on her way to the library. Through the window, she saw a cashier use the door words with another customer. It took less than a minute. Both people smiled. Maya kept walking, her steps easy, the afternoon light soft on the sidewalk. She did not need to look back. The lesson had taken root. And as she moved forward, she carried a simple truth that would stay with her, steady as a heartbeat: look for facts, not fears. Treat people with care. Let calm lead.